Yeah, so welcome back, guys. This is Madhav PVL, and today we are going to see how to work on Python. And now in this video, I will just try to brush up the basics of this Python along with the NumPy library so that you can just work on some simple problems regarding this artificial intelligence or even our Python full stack development. So I will just brush up all the basic things, and I will also just show some of the code's execution in the Google Colab. I will just share you this PDF of my notes of around 60 pages, and then I will also share my Google Colab link so that you can also refer all those programs later. So now we will start this video with my notes. Yeah, please subscribe to Works After College for further updates. Yeah, now let us just get into the topic Python. So basically Python is something which is a high level programming language. So in Java we need to just remember some words which were other than English, but in this Python it's completely belonging to English. So there is no problem with this language. It is a high level language. We can just write it in a very basic English. So with the help of interpreter we will just run the programs in the Python. And now here if we need to just see this, these are some of the mathematical operations. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 9 minus 8, 4 asterisk 6, 4 multiply by 6, 8 by 4, 5 by 2, 5 here this will give the reminder. So these are the basic math operations. So I will just show you one of it now. Now this is my Google Colab. So basic math. So I will just show you the basic math. Sorry for this. Here you can just declare this thing, or else you can just directly type this 5 plus 8. I think 5 plus 8 is fine. Yeah, here we can just see 5 plus 8 is 13. So these are some of the very basic math operations, but in the Java we need to just write something like a is equal to int a is equal to 5, int b is equal to 8, c is equal to int c is equal to a plus b, and then print c. So we need to just write all those things, but in the Python we can just directly mention it in whatever it is required. And now this one, BODMAS rule. So you know what is meant by BODMAS rule. So this is also something important, but now we will just discuss it later. Now we will just get into the remaining things. So if we need to just print something like a value, we can use this print command. So if you just print use this print, and it will just print the things here. So sorry, normal p, all are normal words. Madhav. Yeah, so basically here this is used for printing values. So here I had just printed the string, right? So now we will just get into this thing, and now Naveen, here I had just printed Madhav, and then Naveen's laptop. Here we can just print it like 2 words if it is required. So I will just do that. Even Madhav laptop. In this way we can also print the things if it is required. So whatever it is we can do in the Python with a very basic English things. And now if we just see here, we can just even multiply this string values. Here we can just see like Naveen plus Naveen gives a concatenation of Naveen. Concatenation in the sense just attaching those both things, right? So attaching those both things is something which is called as a concatenation, whereas now this is something like a multiplication. So now I will just do that here. So basic concatenation and multiplication. Madhav, we need to just mention it in this Madhav plus Madhav gives me Madhav. Yeah, and now even we can just do like this, 10 into Madhav. It will print Madhav 10 times. So here this is something we can just concatenate or even multiply strings in Python. So we can just do these things in Python. And now this is about the basic print and the mathematical functions. And now here this is something which is beyond the box, so it doesn't require, so we will just skip this. We can just print the text files if it is required, but it is not possible in this thing. We need to just install the PyCharm. So if we are having PyCharm, then we can just do this thing like printing the documents or printing the notepad files. So here we can just see like it is a step by step procedure. So if we just declare x here, it will just use the x here even. So here we can just say like x is equal to 2, x plus 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. But here we didn't print this as x, we are not declaring this result as x. Here x is only 2, so here we are using the x as 2 even. So y is equal to 3, x plus y, that is 2 plus 3 is 5. And now here also, here we had changed the value of x is equal to 9 and then x plus y, whereas y value is 3, 9 plus 3 is 12. So here finally the x value is 9, because if we just follow some order, so here x is equal to 2, x plus 3, and y is equal to 3, x plus y. So here we can just say like x plus y. So here the y value is 3. It will just consider only the above values. Only the thing here will be considered only the above values, not the below ones. So here this will go like from top to down approach, we can just say in simple words. And output of a previous operation is x plus 10 is 19, minus plus y is 22. So a string storing in variables. So here we can just store the strings in some of the variables. So here we can just say something like name is equal to YouTube. So if we just print this name is equal to YouTube, then if we can just print it like name, print name, then it will just give the YouTube. Otherwise we can just use it for the further purposes, like we can just add something with the along with the name. So here I had added the string. I think we can also add the number, so we will just try it now. And now I will just declare it as name is equal to Madhav. Okay, so print name. So it will just print the name as Madhav, and now we will just try something new, that is name plus rock, Madhav rock. So here we can just see I think we can also add this name plus number. I think that is possible. Now we will just see. Okay, fine. So inters are not at all possible, so we can't just do this int, because along with the number we can do only this string value. Along with the string we can only do the string value. So here we can just see we can add the variables along with some other string values. So here if we just store this as a YouTube, then it will just store like an array. So in Java and C we know about arrays, like array, right? So array of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3, ARR of 4. So whatever it is, we know about those things, right? So here also it is just storing like that. So fetching a letter name 0. So here the 0 is Y and 1 is 0, 2 is U, 3 is T. So it will just print the values like it will just store the values like this, like an array. So name, so this is a name. So we had just stored the YouTube as a name, right? So name of 6. So this is the sixth one. So it will just print the E. So when we try to use a negative number, then the negative number starts from right to left. Right to left in the sense, so it will just start from this E. It will just come from last to front, that is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Because in if we just consider this in the basic math, so minus 5, minus 4, sorry, I will just give some minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here this will be a basic number line. So this is a very basic math which we had learned in the third class, right? So here this is the thing if we just consider this positive values, but this is the thing if we just consider the negative values. So here the negative values are towards the left side from right to left, whereas the positive values are from left to right. So this is the thing which we are using now. So this is from right to left, minus 1 to minus 7. So we will just try to do this thing even. Name is equal to Madhav. So we will just try to print something like print name of 0. It will print m. So here we can just see this is storing like something like a values. So even if we just try to print something in a negative value, so print name of minus 1, so it will print v. Yeah, so it will just print v. So we can just conclude here like, so it the value in a variable will store like an array, simply array, but this is not completely an array, but it will just store like 0, 1, 2, 3 ARR of 0, like that. It will just store like that, like a simple array. We can just give the array value and print that particular word from that string. So here we can just conclude like this. And now if we just get into the next one, so name of minus 1, so print 2 characters. So if we need to just print 2 characters, we can do like this. So I will just do even that name of 0 is to 2. So I think it will just print MA, yeah, two values. So here we can just print like this. So name of 1 to 4 or else 4. If we need to just print until 4, it will just do like that, excluding 0. So here we can just see like this. These are some of the things which we can just see here. Printing of the string in a particular variable. And now strings in Python is immutable. That is we can just say like my plus name. So we can just use it whatever it is. So here the string will be considered as some individual values. So we can just break those things and we can just use it whenever it is required. So my plus name. So my name is equal to Madhav. So length of my name is length of the string. We can just know the length of the string along with this. So I'll just do that. I think this is not length. Sorry. Yeah, it's len. With the help of this len, we can just know the size of the string. So len use it to know size of the string, and then here the length of the string will be known with the help of this len. Lists. So list is something which we can just know, like this is something like a data structure. So there are different types of data structures in Python, whereas list is one of them. So list, assigning values of lists with name. So nums is equal to, we can just give something like this in a list. So list is something we can just declare some values. So nums is equal to 25, 12, 36, 95, 14. So nums of 0, this is also something like an array. So you can just think what is the difference between that particular string and what is this with the help of list. But here there is nothing much different in this both things, but here list is something which is a data structure, so don't confuse too much. We can just declare some numbers in this, we can't just put some commas. These are individual values, but here these are individual alphabets, so this can't be used in the case of numbers. So these are stored as string values. Here the list will be stored as individual numbers. So there are 7 different numbers. Here the size of the num is 4, 5 itself. 5 individual numbers are there in this particular list. So here the number of 0 is 25, num of 4. Here this can be represented with the help of this square bracket. Square bracket is something which is important in this list. So we will just try to implement this. Nums is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we can just see. So if we just try to print nums of 0, it will print 1. Yeah. So here we can just see. I think ln of nums is not possible. So we'll just see that. Sorry, I just typed it as a text. Okay. Ln of nums. Yeah. So here we can just see these are 5 individual numbers. So we will just try with this 2-digit number. And now we will just try to get the length. Even now we are getting it as a 5. As I had said before, these are 5 individual numbers. So 5 individual numbers are done in this list, whereas in string it is considered as some individual characters. So here the list is used for the purpose of integers. We can use different data types at once, values, or we can just give different data types at once. So we will just do something like this. So student is equal to, I will just give my roll number, sorry, admission number 30810, and then my name, and then my CGPA. So I will just give something like this. And if we just try to print student, it will just print like this. Multiple data types can be used here. So from this we can just conclude like list, in list we can assign values of multiple data types. Yeah. Now we will just move on. In the next, operations and files. So files, we can just perform some of the operations in this, like in Java also we are just doing these things, but in this some of the things will be new. So for example, there in Java I think count is not possible. Count is not a function in that particular Java programming, whereas index is also not there, and then I think extend is also not there, and then reverse is also not there. Remove in the sense the name is a bit different, but there we will just use the pop function or whatever it is. So these 4 are something which is new in this particular Python programming. So append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse. So these are the operations which we can just perform in that particular files. So list is mutable, we can simply change values. So mutable in the sense we can just change the values whenever it is required. So we can just perform these operations to change the values, or we can just use these operations for performing some functions in that particular for that particular values. So mill, here we are just doing like this. So nums dot append 45. So we can just append 45 in this, and insert 2, 77. 2 numbers will be inserted. Remove pop. So we'll just do this one by one. So now so we will just use this nums. Nums is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then now print nums. So if you just print this nums, and now I will just try to do this one by one. So nums dot append. So if we just use this append, nums dot append, we will just give 7, nums dot append of 7. And now if we just try to print nums, it will give the values. Yeah, so now the 7 is done here. So now from this we can just come to a conclusion, like we can just do this append, insert, remove or pop or whatever it is. Append will just add the number, insert is sorry, okay, fine. So append will just join that number for the last element, whereas insert will just insert the elements, whereas remove will remove the already existing particular element, and then pop will just pop the elements here. So now we can just conclude this. So pop can be done, insert can be done, pop can be done, insert can be done, and then append can be done, remove can be done, and all these things can be done with in this thing. So sorry, in the lists. So these all things can be done in the lists. Now let us just continue. So if we didn't specify location, then the element will be removed. So nums dot pop, the last element will be removed if we didn't specify any particular location. So in that whole thing, the last element will be removed. So delete the last element. So here delete list name location to delete multiple elements. So we can just delete the whole list, and then we can just extend it even to multiple, to insert multiple elements. We can use this extend. So now if we just get into this minimum of nums, so minimum number of nums also will be done here. Minimum of nums, maximum of nums, so whatever it is, or those all things will be done here. Nums dot sort, already I had given the sorted value, now we will just give something which is different. So I am just giving nav sort of nums. Sorry, I think that is not sort. Sorry, nums dot sort. Yeah, fine. So it will just sort the things here. Okay, so it is function. My bad. Okay, I think now we can just print nums. Yeah, fine. So here we can just see I had just sorted these things. So sort is something, sort is a function which is used to sort the values in a particular list. So here we can just come to this conclusion. And now if we just move on, tuple. So tuple is another data structure. So tuple or tuple, so whatever it is. So in this tuple we can just do something like 21, 36, 14, 25. So tuple of 1, it will just give this 36 because this is the 0th value, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So we will see this tuple. So tuple is something we can just say like error doesn't support assignment. So here we can just see like tuple, in tuple we can just add the numbers here, everything is same, so we can just bring back that number with this index. So tuple dot count, it will count the occurrence of the number in the index. So the repetition of the values is allowed here. So if we don't want to change the values in a list, then we need to use the tuple. Iterations are very fast. So we can't just change the values in the tuple if it is once done. So we'll just try it. Tuple is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And now tup1. But if we just try to call the number from that particular tuple, we need to just use the square bracket. I think we can also use the normal bracket. Let me just try. Okay, so to call a number from that particular tuple, we need to just use only the square bracket. We can't just use the normal one. So tuple values can't be changed. So now we will just try to change tup is equal to 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. I think this is not possible. Oh fine. I think in this Google Colab it is not following properly, but I think if we just do in this PyCharm or okay, I think here we can't just do that thing. Okay, I don't know then. I think actually we will just follow this particular notes. We can't just change the values in the tuple. So if we don't want to change the values in a list, then we need to use this tuple. Iterations are very fast. Set. A collection of a unique data is a set which can be represented with the curly braces. So the numbers which were represented with the curly braces are known as a set. So collection of unique data. If we want to print the values in a set, it doesn't form any proper order while printing normally. So we'll just try this thing. So if we are just trying to print something in an order, so we shouldn't use this set. So to use set, we okay, so let me just first execute 2 3 4 5 6. I think every individual time it will just show something. Okay, so in Google Colab it is not showing properly. So a collection of unique data is set which can be represented with curly braces. So I will just try with this ideally. Okay, fine. So I think I need to just give only set. So if I just tell set, then it will just print in some another order. I think so. At least now it will work. Okay, so here it is not working properly, but here if we just see, like if we just give something like this, it will just print in some another order. So I'll just try with the one last time. Actually it's not working properly. So we can change the values in set whenever it is required. Numbers won't be repeated if same numbers are assigned in one set. So the numbers won't be repeated if we assign the same number, so it will just print only once. I think this will work. Let's see. Yeah, only once the number will be repeated now. So in this set it is just showing some errors in this particular Google Colab. So if we just do this in PyCharm, then it will be a bit easier. So we will just know what is this dictionary. So it is just defining the data along with a key value. So defining some data along with the key value is dictionary. So here we can just see we are using this column symbol, colon. So if we just use this colon symbol, and we can just represent the data in whatever way it is. So now we will just try to do something. Let us say 1 A, 2 B, 3 C. So here the data is 1A, 2B, 3C. Now I will just print data. So yeah, it will just print like this. So data of 4 we can also just print with the help of the index. So I will just write it down now. Print data of 3. So it will just print C. So here in this way we can just do this with the help of dictionaries. I think the spelling is wrong. So with the help of dictionaries we can print the values with the help of its index. So we can just do the thing now. And now if we just go again in deep data dot get of 1, so it will just give the data, not the index. So So get dot get is used for the purpose of getting the data. Data dot get of 1. So it will just give you the value here. So data dot get. So dot get is something which is used to give only the value, not the index. So it will just give only the value but not the index. And now so this is about dot get. Merging two lists into a dictionary can be done with the help of dict and zip. So here we can just see this is our keys and these are the values, and now dict zip of keys comma values. So we will just try this very simple program now. So keys, I think they had mentioned the strings. Now we will just give something like numbers. So keys are this, and then values A comma B comma C. Now if we just try this zip, so we can just try the zip here. Data is equal to zip, data is equal to zip, dictionary. So we are just trying to put it in the dictionary, right? So dictionary of zip of keys comma values, keys comma values. So we are just putting in the data place. So in the place of data we are just putting these things as a dictionaries. Type object is not defined properly. Yeah, okay, fine. Actually I had placed the square bracket, but now we need to just place only the normal ones. So I will just print the data. So now after printing the data, it will just print like a dictionary. So this is about dictionary, combination of two variables. So we can just join this two and make this as a dictionary with the keys and values. So the first one will be the keys and the second one will be the values. So here the data will be like this. So delete is a keyword which is used to delete the data in a dictionary. Delete data of Harsh. So it will just delete the data. Each data will have its own address. Then if two addresses having same data, then both will be pointed to the same address. So here we can just see A is equal to 10, B is equal to A. Then ID of A, ID of B. We will just try this. So A is equal to 10, B is equal to A. So here I had just assigned values, ID of A, ID of B. So we will just do this. Okay, one second guys, I think we need to just do it individually, then we can avoid some sort of confusion. Yeah, fine. Now if we just do ID of B, it will give the same value obviously. So here we can just say like if two variables containing the same value, then in Python they share the same address, not the different one. So now we can just come to conclusion like this. So ID of A, ID of B, it is it is sharing the same address. So these variables are known as the tags because these variables have a tag values. So these are the tag values. So some of the data types in the Python are none, numeric, list, tuple, set, string, range, dictionary. So none, a variable without any value is known as a none. In Java or C we call it as a null value. Whereas numeric is something which is int, float, complex, bool is something like a boolean, true or false, whereas complex is something which is in the form of a plus ib, so it will just represent in the form of a complex function, whereas int is something which is a very basic number, and float is something which will have some decimal values. So type of num, so a is equal to 5.6, b is equal to int of a, that is it will just consider the base value. So base value of this is 5, so it will just print the 5. So we can just convert any type of any data type to another data type. So here we will just perform some of the operations. So a is equal to 5.6, where b is equal to int of a. Here the a is already float value, so now the b, we will just print the b. So if we just print the b, it will just give the base value. Now we can just convert this in any ways, like if we consider b is equal to 6 and print, sorry, I think we need to just print, sorry, yeah, a is equal to float of b. So it will just print like 6.0, because we are just asking the interpreter to just give the number as a float value. So here the float value for the 6 is 6.0, so it will just print like this. And now here we can just see, so it is a float value, and then complex value we can also just give something like a complex value. Here the complex value requires 2 variables, so here we can just do like b is equal to 6 and then k is equal to 5, where c is equal to complex of b comma k. As a plus ib contains a and b, so here also it contains 2 values. So now we will just try to print c. See, it's a 6 plus 5j, so it will just print like this, a plus ib format. So here we can just see b less than k is true, then bool is equal to b less than k, then it will just say like bool is true. So bool is something like a true and false, which is boolean value. Here list, lst, so type of list, here if we are just defining this in a square bracket, then it will just tell the type is list. So we will just see that one, list is equal to 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6, type of list. So here the type of list is list already. So if we just change this into a square bracket, sorry, curly braces, it will give set. So if we just try to change this into normal one, it will just change it into tuple. So tuple. So according to the brackets type, it will give the type of the values, type of the, we can say like data structure. So there are different types of data structures. Every data structure will be exactly defined like this. So this is of list, and this is of set, and this is of tuple, and this is of string. And now here we can just say like range. So range is something which we can use it in this for loop. In the for loop we can just use this range. Now I will just print the range from 0 to 10. So range 10. So I will just print range 10. So it will just print 0 to 10. So because it is having a range of 0 to 10, so if we want the list of that particular range of 10, we can just do this now. So I will just print like list of range of 10. So it will just print the list. Okay, so we need to just give the initial value. Initial value should be properly mentioned, so that it will just list of range of 10. Actually I gave like this, but I think we need to remove this, list of range of 10. Tuple object is not callable. We will just see it later. I think there is something. So I had just searched it for that in Google. So we need to just mention it in some particular thing. So here we can just see, we need to just mention it in some particular variable. So I'll just mention it here, range of 0 comma 10, and then list is equal to list of a print list. List is equal to list of a. I think there is a problem with this thing, so we will just continue, we will just look it out later. And then now here just understand this is something like a range which is used for the for loop. So number systems in Python, so bin 25, so binary format, binary to decimal, decimal to octal, decimal to hexa, hexa to decimal. So we can just convert the number in whatever it is required. So oct, hex, bin. So we can just use these things. So binary of 25. So the binary value of 25 will be given here, and then oct of oct of 10 will be given like that. So different data types are there, so different data conversions can be happened in Python easily. And now if we just get into this swap two variables in a Python, which is a very basic program, so we'll just look into this program now. So swap two variables in Python using a temporary variable temp. So if we just consider temp as a temporary variable, how we can just transfer that into two, how to just transfer two variables. So we will just work it out now. So a is equal to 5, b is equal to 6. How to just convert, how to just swap these things. So temp is equal to a, b is equal to a is equal to b, b is equal to temp, sorry, yeah, fine, b is equal to temp, print a, print b. So this is a very basic program. We are just swapping these numbers with the help of temp. We had worked in the previous Java also. We had just worked on the Java. This is a very basic program. Swapping of two numbers with the help of temporary variable. And now here we can just see, instead of wasting a third variable, we can just use a formula. So this is a is equal to a plus b, b is equal to a minus b, a is equal to a minus b. So this can also be used. These are the old methods, but whereas if we just get into this Python, there is something which is new, that is swap. One different method in Python, that is a comma b is equal to b comma a. So we can just give directly like this. We will just try it now. A is equal to 5, b is equal to 6, a comma b is equal to b comma a. Print a, print b. So it will just swap the numbers directly without even wasting third variable or whatever it is. So a comma b is equal to b comma a is only available in Python language to swap two numbers. So here we can just say like this, to swap two numbers in a Python, we can just use this a comma b is equal to b comma a. Now if we just get into this, we can just refer these notes for further purposes. So b comma a will be stored in stack, it will reverse the values, then give a comma b from the stack. Bitwise operators, so complement operator, AND operator, OR operator, XOR, left shift and right shift. So we will just discuss in detail. Complement is something which we can just say like it is nothing, just the reverse of a binary number. 0 will be 1, then 1 will be 0. So why we are just considering it like this? Complement of 1 is 0, that is why are we just considering like this? So we'll just open a notepad file, so I will just show you. Now let us just consider one value like 0 1 1 1 2 3, sorry, it contains only 0 0 1 0. So we will just consider this. So this is ones place 2 2 2 4, right? So this is a fourth place. So now complement of 4 is something we can just see now. So complement of 4 is nothing but we will just convert the zeros into ones and then ones into zeros. So we will just do like this. Here also I had just written the same. So we will just convert the ones here and we will just do the same thing. So that's why it will give minus 13. So complement of 12 is minus 13 in ideally. So we can just perform this only in ideally. Complement of 12 is minus 13, complement of 14 is minus 15. So it will just perform like this. Complement is nothing but it is just the reverse of that given binary number. 0 will be 1 and then 1 will be 0. So 2's complement is 1's complement plus 1 is a basic formula. So here we can just say like 1's complement. Why we need to learn this complement is for this purpose, for the purpose of this 2's complement. So the process of the 2's complement is nothing but after finding the 1's complement we will just add 1 to it. So here we had just found this thing, right? So if we just add 1 to it, then we will just get something like this. 1 plus 1 will give 1 plus 1 will give 0 and carry 1. 1 plus 1 will be 1. And then now if you just see 1, so 1 plus 0 will be 1 and then this will be 1. I think this calculation is a bit wrong, but you think I think you might have understand this thing, just adding 1 to this one. So 1 plus 0 is 1 and then 1 plus 1 is 1 here and 1 carry there, 1 0 0 1 1 1 1. So 2's complement of 13 is like this. So we will just add 1 to it after getting the 1's complement, and so both are true, then this is true. So we know about this, right? This right AND operator we had just discussed it in the first year subjects. So if this both are true, then only it is true. Here we can just say like 1 is true, 0 is false. So true will give the true and the remaining all will be 0. So 12 and 13 will give the code as output as 12, whereas 12 and 13 will give as 12, because here we can just see like 12 and 13 in the sense here they are performing this binary addition. So addition, AND operator is an addition, AND operator is an multiplication, OR operator is an addition, right? So here they are performing this multiplication. 0 into 1 is 0 0 0 0, 1 1 1 1 1 1 and remaining all these are 0. So 12 and 13. So we will just do this now. 12 and 13. So it will get 12. So don't just get confused. So it will, these are just multiplying those binary values. So the 12 value and 13 value will be multiplied like this to get this AND value, whereas OR value is something which we can just say like addition. So addition of the values will be done here. So here we can just say like except the 0 0 remaining all are ones. So it will just give the 1 value and the OR value will be done like this. So these are the basic math operations which we can just perform. And now after this we will just get into this in NumPy. So XOR, if both the numbers are different then 1, otherwise it will just give the 0. And if odd operator of 1s, then output of 1, otherwise 0. So here you can just refer these notes for whatever it is required. And then left shift is nothing but it will just gain the value. Gain the value in the sense if it is 10 10, then it will just add 2 zeros before the decimal point. So it will just bring up the value, gaining the value. Here the right shift is nothing but losing the value. So math functions. So math functions can be done in Python with importing this thing. So import math. So we need to just get introduced to so many modules now. So we need to just get this math module. So math module is something which is used for the purpose of completing this math operations in Python. So in this way we can just import this math module and we can just perform all this mathematical operations. And now we will just get this floor and seal concept. So consider three numbers. 2.5 is a seal is 3 and then floor is 2. So seal is a round off value which is greater, that is a higher round off. Floor is a round off value that is lesser than that of the round off, so which is a lesser round off value. This is a higher round off value. So seal is something which is up and floor is something which is down. So alias, as, so it is just an alternative name which is used in case of calling modules for functions. So here every time instead of calling math, we can just, sometimes we need to just use like m dot square, a math dot sqrt. So in this way we can just use like m dot sqrt. So to use that we can just use this as alias. So import math as m. So math dot sqrt 25 is same as m dot sqrt. So I will just import for you. Import math a is equal to sqrt. Sorry, math dot sqrt of 25. Math dot sqrt of 25. It will give 5. And then if I just try to do like this, import math as m and then m dot sqrt of 25, it will give the same value. So now from this we can just come to a conclusion like, while importing different modules we can just use this alias, as in short to use those module commands. So math as m. So we are just using like this for the purpose of importing modules and naming them as a short values. So now m dot sqrt of 25. If we want to import only some particular functions from a module, then we can do that. From math import sqrt comma power. We can just even do like that. From math import sqrt comma power. POW, yeah, fine. So we can even do like this. We can import only few functions from that module if required. So even we can just do like this. We can only import few functions from the module if required. In the Python even we can just, even in Java we can just do that, import from, and we can just mention those functions name if it is required. So importing only sqrt and power. After following the steps, then no need to define module name. So from math import sqrt power of 4 comma 5. So after doing that we can just directly do like sqrt of 25. So it will give the values. So after importing only few functions, we can use them directly. So there is no problem after after importing only some of the few functions, and we can just use it directly. So from math import sqrt power of 4 comma 5. We even do that, power of 4 comma 5. So now here you can just see power is something which is 4 to the power of 5. We are finding its value. Yeah, now basic way of writing a code. So this is something which you can just see in this particular notes. I will just put this in the Google Drive link, so you can just refer to this notes. This is nothing but how to just run the code, how to open PyCharm, how to do all those things. But according to our college, we need to just use this Jupyter notebook. So now I will just show you how to just work on this Jupyter notebook. So basically to install Jupyter Notebook, you need to have something like an Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda Navigator, so I will just mention even this link in the description. So individual edition, so you can just download this Anaconda Navigator's individual edition. So after downloading this, you will complete everything, and you can just open this Anaconda Navigator now. So let me just open this. So after opening this, you need to just install some of the components. So after opening this Anaconda Navigator, you will just get something like this, and here you need to just create the environments if it is required. So for artificial intelligence and data science, I have just created one environment, and now for your view, I am just creating another environment right now. So I will just name it as YouTube. And now I want that environment to be in the Python. So now I am just using this Python 3.9 version. So now I am just clicking on this create. So if I am just clicking on this create, basically the Python, in the sense, it will just install all the packages, but you may just check if it is required. So you can just click like pandas. 1 second, I think it is initializing everything. Yeah, so now if it is there now, so here we can just see, if we just click on this pandas, it is not coming. 1 second. Okay, so if we just click on this pandas, you can just see here GeoPandas base, and then pandas data reader, pandas panda SQL. So whatever it is, if you just click on this apply, it will just install those packages. And even you can just click on the NumPy. Pandas is now not a bit required, but NumPy is something which is very important at present. So if you see here now, I am just showing you the NumPy. So I will just apply the NumPy now, and after applying this, apply. So after applying this, it will just reflect in that particular C drive. So now I will just open this environment. Now I am just opening this environment now in the Jupyter Notebook. So for that reason, now I will just open this the Jupyter Notebook. So I will just open this Jupyter Notebook. Now it will get open. Here we can just see like Anaconda 3. Here we can just see this is an untitled IPYNB. So I am just opening this Jupyter Notebook. So in this we need to just perform all the programs according to our college. So we can just use this Jupyter Notebook. Even this Jupyter Notebook is something which is similar to this Google Colab. So Google Colab also provides the both options like code and text. Even in this Jupyter Notebook, it is providing the code and text. So it is providing like this. Now we will just get back into the topic. So here in this way we can just run the code. So we will just close all these things. Now debug, tracing in the Python, this is not much important. So user input in Python. So what is user input in Python? In every language we will just get a situation to just take an input from the user. So how to just take that? Here directly we can just take like if we need to perform addition, so A is equal to input, directly we can just give it like an input, B is equal to input. So now here we can just see A is equal to input 5 and then B is equal to 7. So now if I just try to print A plus B, it will give 56. Actually it shouldn't give 56, right? So why it is giving like that? So basically this is considering it as a string, so it is doing the concatenation. So to avoid this, we need to mention the data type in front of that input. So now I am mentioning the data type. So even along with that, I am just mentioning some comment in that bracket. So enter the value A, enter the value of A, enter the value of B. Here if you just pass this commands like this, enter the value of A, B, now it will give 11. So this is an addition. So user input will be string value at its initial stage, whereas if we need some other data types, we need to specify them properly before taking the input. So this is the thing which we need to make sure. We need to just mention the input data type properly, so that it would be easy for the interpreter to just run the code properly. So yeah, we are just considering this thing. Now this is not the expected output, right? So we need to just put this int. So I just explained it now, and now here we can just take the character even. So here if we need to just get only one character as an input, so we can just take like this: input, enter a character of 0. So I will just see ch input, enter a character of 0. So it will enter only one egg, sorry, print ch, it will print only e, yeah, okay, h. So whatever it is taking as a value, then only that value will be printed. Only one value will be printed there. Now this will be the output eval. This keyword is used to solve the expression mathematically. So I don't know this proper explanation, but if we need to just get something like a mathematical expression, so we can just use this eval. So eval is something, result is equal to eval. We can say like result is equal to eval of input of enter an expression. So if we just give something like this, now we need to enter some expression. My name is Madhav. Invalid syntax. I think we should mention it like a string. Okay, I think we need to just import math. I think this is not possible now. So it is just for the purpose of representing a mathematical expression. So command line input, this is also not much required. So this is something which we can just take the input from a command line prompt, that is from CMD. So from CMD we can just take this command and we can just run the program there. If else statement, so this is also one of the important thing. So this is just to take an option from some options, to choose an option from the condition. So the condition, if the block can be many lines needed but should be under same number of spaces. So if else there should be some space value. So here this should be properly in a particular order. So here we can just say like, if now we will just try to execute some program. In A is equal to int of input of enter a value to check whether it is even or not. So I am just trying to check whether the value is even or not. If a percentage 2 double equals to 0, I am just mentioning it with the help of a colon. You can just see it here, right? So I am just mentioning it with the help of a colon. Here this is important. So after pressing that column, I am not giving the space. Directly the interpreter will just provide the space here. So if a percentage 2 is double equal to 0, then I will just print number is even. And for else we need to just get back again there, and we need to just mention again with that colon, and we need to just again write the print statement like number is odd. So now I will just run the code. So I will just give 2, it is an even number, and I will just run the code. I will give it as a 5, it will give an odd number. So if else will work like this. Basic English, basic code for even and odd number finding. So we can just find the even or odd number this like this. So this is a very basic code. If else, so basically this colon is very important. Sorry. Colon is very important for if else or even or for loop even. For all these things, the colon is very much required, important. Now we will just get back into this different blocks for if else. So even or odd, the above codes are not efficient, so now we need to use the else function to execute. So else print even or odd. So nested if, so we can also even give that nested if also. These are all we had just learned in the previous Java programs even, but now for our case we will just execute one program. So now let us just consider x is equal to 3. If x not equal to 0, then it will just get into this inner loop. If x equal to 3, sorry, okay, so if x is not equal to 0, print number is valid. Print the number is valid. If x equal to 3, number is 3. Else number not found. Number not found. I think this is a big blunder, but okay. So if else print, I think I had maintained this proper syntax, but I don't know why it is not coming. Invalid syntax, but it's okay. I'll just sort it now. Actually, there is nothing much a big difference. I think the before program which we had just written is having some space problems. but now I made it easier. So if print 0, else print positive number, else print negative number. So in this way we can also write the nested if else conditions in Python. So in this way we can just write. And now if we just get back, elif is something which we can just use in the form of else if. So for the nested loop we will just write the else and if so many times, right? So to avoid that we can just use this elif. So if we use the elif key, then we can just come to conclusion like only if the first statement is wrong, then it will reach to the second statement, if else. If else is done with the help of this elif. So if x double equal to 1, print 1, elif x is equal to. So in this way we will just write this elif command, and then now after completing the elif we will just write the while loop. So for the while loop we will just write something like this. So while loop in the sense we will just repeat the same thing here along with this iteration, and then this is a very basic example for the while loop, whereas for example in an example for the for loop is this thing, and then for I in range of 0, 100, 1. So what are all these things? So I'll just discuss now. So while loop, for loop, I will just keep this and I will just delete remaining. So now if we just see in for loop, for each character will be considered for execution, whereas for while loop every single character can't be done. So if we want that to be done, I think that is not possible. So for loop it will just consider every single character, whereas in the while loop it will consider it as a whole string. So now if we just see here, this is about the for loop and while loop, whereas in this for loop actually there is one more thing. So we will just look about this iteration. So in the for loop, along with the for loop we will just involve the combination of the for loop with range. So we will just do one thing. For I in range of 0, 0 is its initial starting point, from 0 to 100 with an iteration of 1 each. So 0 plus 1, 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 1 4 till 100. So now I am going to just do like this, and now I am going to print I. So to just print the numbers from 0 to 100. So if we just try to do the reverse for this, for I in range, 100 is the starting point and 0 is the last point, and now we need to just give the minus 1, because 100 from 100 we need to just decrement the values to get the reverse thing, right? Until 100 we need to just get the decrement of the values to get the reverse values. So now I will just print I and let's see. So it will just give the reverse values. So here this is the starting point, this is the ending point, and this is the value of increment or decrement or whatever it is. Now in this way we will just print the values. So write a code to get a set of numbers which are not divisible by 5 from 1 to 21. So we will just do that thing now. So for I in range of 1 to 21 with an increment of 1. I think increment is not required in this case. Sorry. Increment is not required in this case. From if I percentage 5 double equal to 0, print I. So it will just print the values which are divisible by 5. So numbers divisible by 5 are print. So in this way we can just work on the remaining codes. So break is something which we can just say, like if we need to just break a loop, then we can just use this break. So continue is something if we need to just skip some values, we can use this continue. Break is already seen in Java, so I will just tell you something about continue. So continue, if we want to just skip some values, like if we just read this question, to print the numbers from 1 to 101 excluding the numbers which were divisible by 3. So excluding the numbers divisible by 3. So for I in range 0 to 100, if I percentage 3 double equal to 0, continue. And then print I think this is fine. Yeah, so it is printing the values which were not divisible by 5. So sorry, 3, the numbers which were not divisible by 3, numbers not divisible by 3. Now if we just move on, so these are the numbers which were not divisible by 3, and then pass is something, if we need to print the numbers which were not odd, then we can just print like this, not equal to 0, pass. So if the numbers which were not odd, so pass in the sense it will just print the numbers which were not odd, it will directly print, it will just keep those values. Pass in break, the pass and continue, I think they don't have much change, but I don't know what is the exact change it is having properly. Note, break and continue are just used in the purpose of some functions, but pass is used in case of whole block. Actually, if we just implement some of the biggest programs, I think this pass may make some big change, but now it doesn't make any change with compared to continue. So we will just try to print this pattern now. So to print this pattern, we know matrices, right? So matrices will have x axis and y axis, 2 into 2 matrix, and this is 4 into 4, 4 into 4 in the sense 4x and 4y. We can just consider it like this. So we'll just write a code now. So for writing a code like this, so we'll just write for I in range of 4, for j in range of 4, print I think so, print asterisk, and we need to just mention its end, and we need to just make a new line for the purpose of its arrangement. So it will just arrange like this, 4 asterisks, 4 asterisks, and now this is a code, and then we will just try to do it for an ascending order. For I in range of 4, for j in range of 4, print actually we need the descending order. I will just show you the picture image. Yeah, we need an order like this, the descending order 4 3 2 1. So for that reason we need to just mention the j loop like this, because it need to here we can just see like I value will be decreased for I in range, so it will just decrease the value from 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1. So we are just using this in the purpose of for the purpose of this j loop. So we'll just try like this, 4 minus I, and we will just try to print the asterisk and we will just print the value. I think this will work. Yeah, fine. So this will print the descending order of the value. So in this way we can just print those series, and to find the condition satisfying numbers we can just use this for else. So use this for else. So else command can also be used. So note, we need to write else for loop to print not found only for one time. So arrays in Python. So arrays in Python will be represented with the help of this I. So array of I, for loop we can just use this for loop, right? So if we need to just print the values of all this, we can just use this for loop from 0 to 4 for I in range of 4 in an array. So it will just print all those values. So functions in an array. So now functions in arrays, buffer info. So this is just get to the info, this is just to get the information about the array. So if we just store some values in an array, so to get that information we use this buffer info. So we will just try to do this one. From array import star, I think array, okay, vals is equal to array I comma values 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. Okay, fine. We need to just mention its type clearly. Yeah, after mentioning its type, the thing is changed. The values are in a green color so that it is saved properly. So to know this function, we need to write vals.bufferinfo, print vals.bufferinfo, vals.bufferinfo. This is a function, I think. It is underscore, yeah, print vals.bufferinfo. So this is an information regarding that particular array. So this is for knowing the buffer info. And then reverse, so to just reverse the values in that particular array, we can just use this vals.reverse. Here I am just writing it in a new one, vals.reverse print vals. So after 1 second, I think we need to just start from this vals.reverse. As this is a function, we need to mention it with a bracket. So it is giving the reverse value, and then the remaining ones are array values. So to enter the elements, then enter the size of the array, ask for values with for loop. To add data, use append function in an array. So we will just do one thing, array, we will just input the size of the array and we will just append the data to it. So we will just do that step by step. So from array, so we will just do step by step now. We will just first declare that empty array. From array import star array arr is equal to array array of type I comma values. So first we need to know the size. So size is equal to int of input of enter the size of array. So after entering the size of array, so for I in range n, for I in range of n, we need to just mention that in a bracket. For I in range n, val, let us just consider it, okay, let us just consider it as x. So x is equal to int of input of enter the value. So after entering the value, we need to just append it to that array. So arr dot append of x, printing the array. So this is a very basic thing. So now it will just ask for the size of the array. Now I am giving the size as 5. Sorry, I had given it as n, but its size 5, size is 5. So enter the value, 5 values, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I had entered 5 values, so it is representing that. So this is a program for inserting values in array. And now next thing is ways of creating arrays in NumPy. So basically we are working on NumPy, right? So we need to know how to create the arrays in NumPy. So there are different types of arrays. There are simple array, line space, log space, arrange zeros 1. So we will just discuss one by one. In NumPy we don't need to mention the data type, it will automatically guess. So simple array in the sense we had just discussed it now, the array with its type. So now from NumPy import star array is equal to array comma float. So it will just represent the float value even if you give the normal one. So we will just try that. From NumPy import star arr is equal to arr array of, sorry, from NumPy array of I comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So now I am just going to give it as a float value. I think there is no representation of I here. So I am just printing array. It will give 2.0. Yeah. So now if we need to just get it in the form of integer, yeah, normal form. So it will just give the normal one. Now in this way we can just specify the data type if required, else it will automatically guess the data type of the values. Enough linspace. So linspace is nothing but creating a number of combinations. So this is nothing but with the help of this linspace we can just create multiple number of combinations. So for this I will just show you one code. So now from NumPy import star, I think we should directly write linspace. Yeah, okay. ARR, we need to just store that in an array. Linspace, spelling is wrong, linspace. Okay. Linspace of 0 comma 15 up to 20 combinations. Actually I require 20 combinations from 0 to 15. So now I am going to print ARR. Yeah, so it is showing a different combination. So it will just give 20 different numbers from 0 to 15 with the help of this linspace. So now we may also use, so linspace is nothing but which is used for which is used for giving the combination of different numbers as requested. As if we ask the number of combinations, it will just give that along just like that only. If you just give 20, if you mention 20, it will give 20, else it will give the normal one. So now let us just see this arrange. So arrange is almost equal to the for loop. So here we are just giving this incrementing thing. So arrange is almost equal to for loop. From NumPy import star arr is equal to arrange 0 comma 15 of 1 increment each. Print ARR. I think arrange spell is wrong. ARR ANG. Arrange. Yeah, in English it is ARR, but now we need to write only one R. So arrange, arrange. So it is doing like this. It is just similar to for loop, nothing much different. And then the next one is log space. So it will just represent the data in a logarithmic way. So ARR is equal to log space of 0 comma 15 comma 1. Print ARR. We need to import NumPy. Okay. think logarithms doesn't have the zeroth value. Yeah, now it is showing 5 different combinations, different combinations using logarithmic ways. And now log space zeros is nothing but if we want 5 zeros in an array, we can just use this zeros function. So zeros function is nothing but giving 5 zeros in that particular thing. Ones is nothing but giving ones. So copy array in Python. So there are two types of copying arrays in a Python. That is, first one is the shallow copy and the second one is a deep copy. So what is shallow copy and deep copy? So shallow copy is nothing but if we change the value in a main array, then second array also changes its value. So here we can see for a shallow copy, we need to just mention it clearly as a view. So now I am just going to write this program. From NumPy import star, we need to just declare two arrays, array 1 and array 2. Array 1 is equal to array of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. ARR2 is equal to view. ARR1 dot view. Actually, the thing happening here is nothing but the array 2 is just viewing the things in the array 1. So it is not copying things, it is just viewing the things in the array 1. So if the view of array 1 changes, automatically array 2 view will also be changed. So that is nothing but the shallow copy. So if we just involve array 1, if we just give something like 7 and if we just try to print ARR1 and ARR2, so it will just add, as these both are same. In Google Colab it is showing only one output. So it is this is a shallow copy. Shallow copy is something which follows the above array blindly, so that if the change occurs in first array, then it also affects in second array. So this is the thing which we can just learn from the shallow copy, whereas deep copy is a bit different. So deep copy is nothing but it is copying the things from the array 1. So it is just copying the things. So again the same code from the above thing, but we will just change it into copy. So only the array 1 will have the 7. I don't know, let me just print it in another thing. Print ARR2 think built-in method object. I don't know what it is happening, but only 7 will be added only to the first one, not the remaining ones. So sorry, I didn't mention the type here, sorry, my bad. So it will add 7 only here, but not the below ones. I think now it will work. Let me just check. No, it's not working. It's not printing for the second time, but it's fine. We came to know about this, right? Yeah. So 7 will only be printed here, but not here, because it is just copying the things from the array 1. So I will just write it down here for the purpose of the verification. So deep copy is something in which the secondary array will just copy the things from the primary array, so that connection between them will be lost after copy the values. So after copying the values, the connection will be lost between them. So that is what I'm gonna say. And dimensional arrays, we can create dimensional arrays with the help of NumPy. NDIM is used to check the dimensions of an array. From NumPy, we can just do this 2 into 2 dimension. I'm going to check now. So from NumPy, import star. So from NumPy, import star, ARR1 is equal to array of 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 second, guys. Yeah, I think this should be mentioned in another bracket. I think now it is fine. So now we will just check the dimension. So print ARR1 dot NDIM. Yeah, now it will just print the dimension of that particular array. It is 2 into 2 array, 2 into 2 matrix dimension, 2 into 2 dimension. So shape, it is given the number of rows and columns. Size, it gives the total size of all the blocks. So we can convert a 2-dimensional array into 1-dimensional array with the help of flatten. So now if we just try to do this both as one, so we will just do one thing. We can just write something like this here. ARR2 is equal to ARR1 dot flatten. So we will just print ARR2. It will just flatten the whole thing and it will just print like this. So we can convert a 1-dimensional array into different types of arrays with reshape key. So with the help of reshape key, we can just do like 2 into 2 with the elements of 3 elements in each box with 2 each. So here it is showing 2 and here it is showing 2. With the help of reshape, we can just do like that. So we'll just try to do ARR1 dot reshape of 2, 2, 3. I think this will work. 2. Okay, fine. I think after the things get flattened, it will work. Okay, let us just do one thing. So ARR3 is equal to ARR2 dot reshape 2, 2, 3. Print ARR3. So all this will be flattened and then it will just reshape into 2, 2, 3. Okay, as we got an error before, so I just saw that actually it is having only 8 elements, right? So it can't make up to 3 sets, so it can only make up to 2 sets each. So it is showing like this. So with the help of this, we can just convert them into different dimensions. It is possible. So now matrices in Python, we need to use the matrix to convert the given numbers into matrix form. We can divide the matrices with the help of a semicolon. So semicolon is used for this matrix division. So now matrix division, there is one of the most important rule in the matrix division. Note. So here we need to just make sure one thing, like number of elements in a matrix rows, or we can just say like after keeping the semicolon, or after semicolon should be equal. Like let me just show you some example, like yeah, now from NumPy, from numpy import star. So from numpy import star arr1 is equal to, sorry, m is equal to matrix. Only in this Google Colab that will be involved, but in normal I think this is fine. This numpy is totally fine, but in Google Colab it is involving the thing, the matrix of. Now I will just involve the elements 1, 2, 3, 4 with a semicolon, 5, 6, 7, 8 with a 4 elements, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. So now here we can just see, right? So here if we just see, like, so it is just storing it like a string values, but now if we just try to make it as a number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if we just click on this print, then sorry, it will just take only like a string value. So 1 space 2 space 3 semicolon 4 space 5 space 6 and bracket close. So it will just print the value of that matrix as this thing. So in this way we can just print that. Functions in Python. So if we just declare this, like if we just define a function greet, so in that greet we will just print hello, good morning. Yeah, okay, we will just do that one. So def greet, def greet, I think there should be some colon, print hello. Hello, good morning. So here if we just give like I think in this it will not run, but we will just try in this. Sorry. Yeah. So here we can just see, like if we just give this greet, it will give hello, good morning. So if we just try something new, that is if we just do this def add of x comma y, def add of x comma y, add of x comma y with the semicolon, z is equal to x plus y. So z is equal to x plus y, print z. So it is going to print the z value, and now we can just give this particular thing here, add of 2 comma 3, it will just give the value as 5. So here we can just see, we can just define function as in whatever it is required, whatever way it is required, it doesn't matter. So we can just add or subtract, or we can do whatever it is, whatever as you wish. So formal arguments, the declaring arguments in a function is known as a formal arguments, actual arguments. The values in which we are calling through a function is called as an actual arguments. So this is nothing but like a constructor and a value. Here we can see these are of 4 types: positional, keyword, default variable, length. So what is positional? So if we just declare this as name and age, we should give only name and age. If we give this age and name, it will just show an error. So here if we just get into this keyword, so with the help of this keyword, if we just mention it properly, if age is equal to 28 and name is equal to Naveen, if we mention it properly, it will just print it as it is, the function will work properly. Whereas if we just get into this default, so if we do not enter the age, if we enter only Naveen, and if we did not enter the age, then it will just give you the default value of the age as 18. So this is about the default spacing. And then variable length. So variable length is something which we can just see later, it doesn't require now. And then Fibonacci series, so this is one of the program which we can do, and this is a factorial using recursion. And then filter command, so filter command is used for the purpose if evens and non-even or whatever it is. So even function can be declared like this. So these are the things which we, if we just look at this notes, you can just get some clarity. And then decorators, these are used as an additional feature for a function. So here defining a function inside a function is known as a decorator. So here we can see like a division of a comma b, print a by b. So define smart division. So if the numerator is less than that of the denominator, then we can just directly write the that as the we can just replace those things and we can just complete the division. Otherwise it is a big blunder, right? So we can just call it as a smart division. Whereas module, so we can just use a code, different codes from, if we go on in deep regarding this Python, then we can just get in deep about all these things. But all the basic things had been covered by me along with the execution in this Jupyter notes. I think this might make some sense. Thank you for watching Works After College. Please share with your friends. Thank you for watching.